welcome to our virtual yoga class. My name is Vanessa and I'm here to support you for the rest of your practice. So as you transition to our first resting pose, this will be laying on our backs. Notice that right now is your opportunity to let go of your to-do list, to start shifting your attention to your breath and your body. So begin that process now as you're laying down on the floor. And as a reminder, we're cultivating a practice. It's not something you just can automatically shift into. It's a practice to start noticing the breath, noticing our bodies, creating some space between us and our thoughts, to be more deliberate and cultivating that connection of the physical, mental, emotional body. And then you'll notice that sometimes it's more challenging and other times it's a lot easier. So always have compassion and understanding wherever you are at. So as you lay here on the floor, I suggest hands on your chest and belly or hands framing your hips. Do take an inhale here, exhale, sigh it out. Allow that breath to be a reset button. That's one metaphor. You can also visualize releasing physical, mental, emotional tension. We sort of have a little backlog of thoughts and tensions and worries. And so as we sigh out, we can visualize releasing those tensions and worries, that backlog. Inhaling, receiving anything that supports you here. And then starting to scan your body here. Notice the points in which your body touches the mat. Be the back of the head, down to your heels. Notice the points in which the mat and your body connect. And then notice that throughout the class, we'll be cultivating an inner stillness, inner spaciousness. This inner quiet sense. It doesn't mean that your environment has to be quiet or still or spacious. It's more about cultivating it inwardly. Noticing that spaciousness is there as long as we place our attention there. It's really just a matter of placing our attention there. It's that stillness behind the thoughts. It's that stillness that remains there as you're working on flexibility, balance, and strength. Inhale. You can exhale, sigh out. See if you can place your attention to 3 consecutive breath cycles. Inhale, exhale, 1. And to your second and third breath cycle. Excuse me. Supports our mental focus and mental attention when we focus on 3 breaths, 5 breaths. And then take a deep, generous breath, a type of breath you can go back to throughout your day. And then invite a full body stretch, lifting your arms up overhead. I recommend interlacing your fingers, pointing your toes, lifting your abdomen up towards the ceiling, decompressing around the lower back. And then once you've taken a few moments there, bend that right knee, grab your knee with your hands, round your spine, forehead towards your knee, drop your head back. Other side, bend your left knee, grab your knee, round your spine, forehead up towards that knee, drop your head back. Now both feet float off the floor, grab your knees here. 3 rounds, forehead up towards your knee, and then drop your head back. You want that full rounding in the spine. And then once you've done those 3 rounds, drop both feet onto the floor or onto the mat. Rest your left ankle or shin on top of your right thigh. Now use your hands to press that thigh away from you. Breathe here about 2 breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Release. Weave your left hand between your legs. Interlace your fingers behind that right thigh. Hang in here. You can intensify that stretch in the left hip by bringing your thigh closer towards you. That means your elbows will bend. It can be a subtle shift, just bringing that thigh closer towards your belly. Breathe into your boundary. 2 more generous breaths here. And then release. Now opposite side, right ankle. Rest on top of your left thigh. Use that right hand or both hands to press that thigh away from you. 2 breaths. Inhale. Exhale. And once 2 breaths or so. Weave your right hand between your legs. Interlace your fingers behind that left thigh and hold. Few breath cycles here. Don't forget that expansion in the belly as you inhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more breath. And then release. Let's ground both hands onto the floor and lift up. We're going to press that right foot right against our left thigh, lengthen our spine, flex our left foot. Notice just a gentle stretch already activated in the calf and hamstring just by both flexing your left foot and lengthening your spine. Leading to your chest and heart, fold. Hands can reach thighs, shins, or toes. Breathe into your hamstrings, glutes, lower back and hip, down to the calf. Soften neck and shoulders. You can have a little micro bend to your knee. Inhale. And then exhale, release. Take that right foot onto the floor. Take your left arm out. Hook your elbow onto your knee. And then gaze over that right shoulder. I am simultaneously flexing my left foot and lengthening my spine. I'm active here. Get a comfortable breath. And then release. Opposite side, lengthen that right leg. Press your left foot against your thigh. Little bend to that right knee, right foot is flexed, fold over. Now you can keep that foot flexed or you can soften that foot. A few breath cycles here. Allow yourself to deepen, soften neck and shoulders as we tend to crunch up here. Notice that breath that begins at the belly. Focus on hamstrings, calves, hips, glutes. Inhale. Exhale. And then release. Take that left foot onto the mat. Take your right arm out. Twist towards the left. Spine is long, right foot is flexed. Inhale. Exhale. Release. Pulling both soles of the feet together. Fold down. Elbows can rest in the creases around your knees. Drop your belly towards the mat. 3 intentional breaths. If you have trouble concentrating, just lengthen the length of your inhale and exhale just a little bit. And then after those 3 breaths, start to release. Cross-legged position here. Let's inhale here. Lift your arms up overhead. Interlace your fingers, palms up, round your spine. Take your chin towards your chest. Hold here. You want that full rounding of the spine. Chin is towards your chest. Palms towards the front. Elbows lengthen. And then after a breath, start to tilt forward, land those hands onto the mat, the floor, start to shift into your forward fold. I'm going to soften our neck, our head, inhale halfway up. Exhale, release and sweep our arms up overhead. Hands in front of your heart center. Let's inhale here. Exhale, side out. Release your hands. Start to cup your forearms with your hands here. Lift your chest, your heart, take your gaze up. Release neutral spine. Interlace your fingers, draw your shoulder blades closer together. Lift your gaze, your chin. Bend your knees, fold down, elbows remain extended. Soften neck and head as you fold. And then inhale halfway up once. Exhale, release and sweep our arms up overhead, preparing ourselves for sun salutations. I'll go ahead and cue. If you need to move at a different pace, quicker or more slowly, go for it. In these sun salutations, we ground through our feet, extend through the spine. We try to move in integrity, creating our own personal rhythm. Release your hands, inhale, arms lift. Exhale, bend your knees, fold down, forward fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, release, step back into plank pose, hands beneath your shoulders, legs long. Release down towards the floor, engage your glutes, tops of the feet are on the floor, upward facing dog. Exhale, down dog. Take a breath or two here in your down dog. Take your gaze between your hands, walk or jump up to that forward fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, release and sweep our arms up overhead. Hands in front of our heart center, generous inhale here. Exhale, release your hands. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, release, step back, plank pose. Release down towards the floor. Inhale up, upward facing dog. Exhale, down dog. Take your gaze between your hands, walk or jump up to that forward fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, release, sweep the arms up overhead. Hands in front of your heart center. You take an inhale here. Exhale. Last round, lift your arms up overhead. Exhale, bend your knees, fold down, forward fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, release, step back, plank pose. Release down towards the floor. Inhale up, upward facing dog. Exhale, down dog. Deep belly breath, downward facing dog. Let's remain here in our down dog. Grounding through our palms, chest moves towards our thighs, hips are hips are lifted, heels as well. Inhale. Exhale, shift into a plank pose, hold that plank pose, release down towards the floor. Both arms lift up, both legs lift, inhale. Exhale, release 4 more times. Inhale up, exhale, release. Engaging your glutes as you lift. On that 5th round, remain there an extra breath, 2 or 3. Remain lifted. And then soften and relax your body. one cheek on the mat. You want to notice that paradox where our body is very relaxed, yet our mind is still attentive and aware. So as you're laying here, you're very intentionally softening the body, relaxing the body, while at the same time remaining attentive with the breath. See if you can notice a couple of consecutive breath cycles. Noticing that influx of energy in the body. Noticing that inner spaciousness and stillness we're cultivating in our body. Arrive to this present moment. Three more breaths here. And after 3 breaths or so, we'll go through another sequence, same thing. Belly on the floor, lift both arms, lift both legs up. You're engaging the glutes. Exhale, release. You want to use your inhale to find that lift and release. Inhale up again. You're being mindful of your core strength throughout the lower back and mid back. Notice that upper body strength as your arms are stretched out. 5 times, inhale up and down. On the 5th round, you remain there, an extra breath, 2 or 3. Noticing where your edges and strength and endurance here. Just as we notice edges and flexibility, that boundary where we fold a little bit more, we also notice that edge and our strength. Where can we endure just a little bit more? So be intentional on that 5th round. Holding. And then releasing down towards the floor, opposite cheek on the mat. For an effort of balance, opposite cheek on the mat. Scan your body, being purposeful and softening and relaxing the body, remaining attentive and aware of the breath. Three more breath cycles here. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. If you want to exhale side up, go ahead, go for it. And after those 3 breaths, you start to release the pose, shift up into an upward facing dog, and then a downward facing dog. Once in that down dog, pedal your feet back and forth. Notice if there's anything else you want to open up here in hips and glutes and hamstrings. As we bend our knees generously back and forth, we open up that lower body. Notice the upper body strength, supporting you in this inversion. And now drop your knees onto the mat. Check in with your hands, making sure they're beneath your shoulders. And let's inhale up, cow pose. Round our spine to a cat pose. Then release. We'll bring our left leg up so it's parallel to the floor. So we're preparing for balance here. We're gonna lift our right arm up. So you can take your gaze forward or take your gaze down towards the mat. Imagine a cord lifting you up and your middle body lifting it up towards the ceiling. Left glute and quad are engaged. Lots of core strength here. Take an even breath. Try not to hold the breath. And then release your hand onto the mat, release your knee. Inhale up, cow pose. Exhale, round your spine, cat pose. In a neutral position here, lift that right leg, lift your left arm. Inhale. And exhale, release your left hand, release your knee. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, round your spine, cat pose. And then shift back into a child's pose. Knees close together or towards the edges of your mat. Working on that mental concentration. Focus on 3 breath cycles as well as lengthen your inhale and exhale a little longer than you're accustomed to. Not so much you're uncomfortable, but just a little longer. And after 3 breaths or so, start to inch that right hand towards the left corner of your mat. Your elbow will float off the mat. And then release. Now inch that left hand towards the right corner of your mat. And release. We'll start to shift into a cross-legged position. Notice which leg is most forward and then switch it out for an effort of balance. It actually does affect whether one side of the hips and lower back opens up more by our seat. You want to balance that out. Hands on your knees. Little mini meditation here. 3 breath cycles. Inhaling and exhaling for the day we've had so far. Inhaling and exhaling for this moment. Inhaling and exhaling for the rest of our day. Notice that inner spaciousness and stillness cultivated throughout the class. Invite this present moment. By doing so, and by inviting our breath, we're welcoming our experience. We'll bring our shoulders up towards our ears, draw them down. 3 times back. And then 3 times forward. Now, we don't tend to move our shoulders forward, so give yourself an opportunity to feel into that difference, perhaps a little bit of that awkwardness. Lift shoulders up and then forward. An effort of balance. We shift our shoulders forward. Lift your hands and take your hands behind your head. And then twist towards the left and the right. And then moving quickly or holding one side a little longer. And then release your hands. Inhale. Exhale, drop your chin towards your chest. Roll your head from one shoulder to the next. If you prefer to work on meditation, go ahead and take a moment. Bring your head back to a point of stillness. Otherwise, a few breaths here, releasing tension in the sides of the neck, back of the neck, upper back, shoulders. This even affects your mid-back. Throughout the day, we tend to store some tension around our neck and shoulders, so be mindful of protecting that area. Few more breaths. Then after a breath or two, head comes back to a neutral position. We invite a generous, leisurely breath here. Inhale and exhale. We'll start to shift to lay down on the floor. So we'll work on our core as you release down towards the floor. And not just our core, we're also activating our glutes and our quads. So palms up towards the ceiling. Tuck your chin towards your chest. Make sure you're protecting your neck and upper back by doing so. Your feet can float off the floor. Any shaking is fine. Notice glutes, quads, core active here, supporting you here. And then drop your head, interlace your fingers, full body stretch. And then bend both knees, both feet float off the floor. We're gonna come into a twist. Drop your knees towards the right, bring your arms out to a T. Drop your head towards the left. Soften neck and head. And then bring your knees back to center, drop your knees towards the left, drop your head towards the right, scanning neck down the spine to hips, imagining your knees fall further towards the floor. So when we're laying down in a pose like this, it's surprising that sometimes we just hold our bodies up with a little bit of tension. So scan your body and see how can you soften just a little bit further. And this is a metaphor here, or a guidepost. Like, what does it look like to soften your body just 10% further? Meaning it's just a matter of a little bit. We'll notice that you hold on to some tension in a very subtle way, release a little bit of tension, or holding up your body in a way you don't need to. You're supported by the ground, you're softening towards the floor, towards the mat. Inhale. And exhale, bring your knees back to center. You're gonna transition into our final resting pose. Lengthen your legs out, palms face up towards the ceiling, framing your hips. Notice this pose teaches us the wisdom of stillness, of doing nothing. Here we're allowed to be with our bodies without any explicit expectation. Observe any thoughts and sensations without judgment, just notice. Soften your forehead and jaw, neck, shoulders, down the length of your arms, wrists and fingertips, upper back, mid back, lower back, to your hips, around your tailbone, and then down the length of your legs, behind your knees, ankles, and toes. You can intentionally take long breaths or allow your breath to go back to its natural rhythm. Both have their benefits. And then we'll start to shift our attention back to our breath, inviting a generous and leisurely inhale and exhale, restoring some movement to our fingertips and our toes. You can invite a full body stretch or turn your body to one side. Once again, invite a generous and a leisurely breath. And then start to release the pose and shift to your seated position. As you get settled here, welcome your breath, that spaciousness you've cultivated, and notice that by welcoming your breath, we welcome our experience. So on that note, we'll seal the class, taking our hands to our heart center, generous inhale and exhale here. And in the tradition of yoga, the highest in me sees the highest in you. May you walk with each other in gratitude.